Billy the Artist here, and we're back with fourth in my series of How to Draw Early Man, and today we're doing the evil baddie Lord Nooth. But we've already done Doug, not Hobnob, but they're the biscuits, Hognob and Goona. So these are the previous videos. If you check out the playlist, the How to Draw playlist, they're in the cards and in the description, you can actually find these. We've already done these ones first, and we're going to do Lord Nooth today. But the techniques that I use in here are to encourage you to draw, to pick up a pencil, just have fun and develop. But these are done very, very quickly. And I say we did a couple for the guys and we did one for the girls. So the ladies, as I showed you when we did Goona, there is Cheryl that I did. So you check out the portraits playlist, the time lapses. This was more than a day's work. So the amount of time, 25-30 minutes to a day's work, you can see, but it's the same techniques. You've just got to spend the time working slowly. Now here we have Ed Sheeran. Now I'm not saying that Ed Sheeran and Hognob have anything in common other than being ginger and short in stature size only, but they are great characters all the way over. But again, these time lapses, and I've also got Doctor Who Peter Capaldi. These are in the portraits time lapse. Now this is when you spend a long amount of time, but you can see even in the guitar fretboard, using the shapes, the rectangles on the guitar, the circle, semicircle for the sound hole in the fretboard, again rectangle for where the strings actually go into the body of the guitar. Again, all of the techniques that I use on these drawings are there for you to learn and grow and develop, and this is how I started drawing my favourite cartoon characters many years ago. So we are now going to do the evil Lord Nooth. Now he looks full body again, like we had with Goona. He looks quite complex and there's a lot in, but we're going to break him down into shapes. Again, if you just draw the imaginary line, kind of breaking your page into quarters, that kind of helps. And you can kind of gauge where everything is a little bit better. So now we're going to put a little circle there, and then we're going to do a rectangle. So the rectangle is going to come out to about just past 3/4 way, and on this side it's going to come to about halfway, so just needs to go a little bit further. So, and that rectangle is on a little bit of an angle, and that's his kind of sash belt going all the way round. Now we can now come all the way down for just a big square, and that's going to be his cloak from his kind of, I don't know, his tunic, cassock kind of thing that goes all the way down, and you can see that that's going to make it work quite well all the way. It's just a big rectangle shape. Now again, here if we go to where we put a rectangle above the circle on his belt, and that's his kind of neck thing, and then you've just got a very simple triangle. So it's kind of a bit like an old milk bottle or a kind of milk carton. Now his shoulder pads here are just triangles. So you've got a triangle there for that shoulder pad, and then this is the Bronze Age thing that he's doing, and this is voiced by Tom Hiddleston, who is Loki in the Avengers movies. So we put a little box for his hand there, but then of course you've just got a triangle shape, which is going to be that arm going off there, and again on this side we've got a triangle shape that's going to come down to this hand here. So all of a sudden you've got quite a big area covered, and you can actually just fill in that arm quite easily, make that into a little rectangle. You've got a lot of shape penciled in very quickly, and it's not as complex all of a sudden. Now his head, we kind of come halfway up to the top. The top of his head is there, so we do that kind of funny shaped rectangle, a bit of a parallelogram, and then he's got a little triangle on the top of his head above his eyebrows, and then his ears, they're just going to be little, so that's like a D, and on this side it's going to be like a C. So you can see very quickly, and his nose is going to have to go in the middle about there, and then he's got a bit of a furrowed brow because he's a baddie, and he's got the big eyelids as well, so we can sketch in circles, but then all you do is put the eyelids in, and then he's got effectively a sausage for a mouth, split in two. So we can put those shapes in, and all of a sudden you have Lord Nooth in boxes and shapes very, very quickly. Again, we can kind of refine this as we go, but that was just gone down in a couple of minutes. So now we're very fastly, with speed and haste, going to put in the detail of Lord Nooth. So if we start with his nose, which is a bit of a longer shape, and you've got the shadow going around the back, going under, and then his right eye, you've got a bit of a oblong eyelid, and then we can put in his pupil, and then you've got his left eye. So if we do the furrowed brow going up a little bit, and we do the left eye, and then the eyelid going up over the top and his pupil in. Leave the white for the highlight. There is Lord Nooth just starting to stare out at you. Now, the sausage shape comes underneath his nose and comes out to past for his lips. And he's a bit of a disgruntled gentleman, isn't he? Though he's no gentleman because he's a bit of a tyrant. So if you've got the cast shadow of his nose, already putting some shading on this straight away just to give you the reference points. So there we have Lord Nooth. So now again, if we come to his neck collar, that's going to come past, and a bit like a milk churn, an old-fashioned milk churn. There's the rim on the top. Now he is going to have the one coming round at the bottom, and we can draw over that in a second, but that's going to go up, and that's going to go down on following that angle going over. So now if we fill in the rest of his head, this comes down, and then his cheek just goes out a little bit and comes inside the lip on his brass collar. And again, on this side of his head, same thing, come down, just following this angle down a bit, and then his cheek kind of goes out and then bends back in just inside the collar. And then you've got his ear, which is kind of matches his nose, but that's just that big D shape, and then you've got his earlobe, nice and simple. Again, on this side, a bit lower, but matching the same, a big C shape, and then you can put his earlobe in. And then what we don't want to forget is there's his top of his furrowed brow, and then the top of his head going off. So there is Lord Nooth's head done. So now we can do the rest. So again, we've got this fantastic medallion, which is just an oval, and then you've got the ruby in the centre. Again, you can just put like a star shape in there, and you can fill that in with a bit of shading in a moment, but it's got a rim to it and a bit of patterning, and the patterning follow the way that the lines go, just to give it that kind of little shape. And he's got a very, very big, thick rope chain going around. But again, it's just the actual chain itself. Follows the curve around the torque part of his collar, and then it just follows the shape, the bits coming down to the actual medallion. That follows the shape of his chest. So again, now we can do the underneath bit of his collar, which has got this lovely kind of lip, same as the top. And then you've got on top of that, going over, you've got the rope that goes around for his chain. Again, just follow the lines for the actual rope pattern itself. That makes it nice and simple for you to create the illusion of what's actually there. Because if you do them straight, you won't have that kind of rope pattern, as you think it's the metal's kind of twisted the way rope and yarn is. Now there's another little line above there, and then he's got a final one going across there, so we can build that down. Now come down here a little bit, we've got the triangle for his shoulder pad. We just move that over a bit, but this one's a bit three-dimensional, so it goes around the back of his arm, and you've got a little bit of shadow in there, and two lines, and then lots of little V's. Again, this side we're coming down a little bit, so we need to bring that, because that's in line with that one, with the bottom of the medallion, and then you've got the two lines for the pattern, and then just do the little V's like shark's teeth. Nice and quick and easy and simple. So now we've got the medallion, big belt button medallion, which is a football. So we do the outer circle, then we'll do the kind of lip, the rim. Now we've got this pattern, and you can see there's 3 lines, 5 if you count the very top and bottom bits. But what's nice and easy is if you draw a line like that, following the curve first, and then draw a line separating it, so you've got the kind of 3 bits. That's your centre line going all the way through, and you know that the 6-sided pattern hexagon is going to sit in within there. But because you've now got these lines, it's much easier for you to draw the actual shapes. So you know that from that centre line there's going to be 2 either side, so you can nice and easily draw a solid line, draw another one, V on the top, inverted V, another inverted V. You can do another line down there and another one for the end as that kind of curves around, inverted V's, and that way you've made a simple process to draw a complex pattern and shape very quickly. Again, same on the top, you can do up to that line there and the line up for that hexagon, and then you draw to the top, and then the final bottom one, you've got the line coming off the bottom of that, you've got the line coming off the bottom of that, same with that one, little V's, and there you have, and you can make those lines a bit thicker if you want, because they are quite deep. Just double them up very quickly. You've got that very quick way of drawing that pattern in. Now again, you can take an eraser and get rid of that centre line, but you've got the pattern of a football, and that's what you can do for any kind of complex pattern. Break it down into rectangles and squares and shapes, and that way, same as you're drawing a body, it makes it so much easier to get a complex pattern down and worked out. Now here we've got his little fingers coming over. He's got 4 fingers and his thumb, and then he's got a little rosette. So there's a circle for the rosette. That's one in the middle. He's just got a little rectangle for his first finger, second finger, ring finger, 4th little finger. And then you've got the shape of his cuff coming round, and then his tunic goes up, and the arm comes out underneath. So now, where we had these basic construction lines, we can now bring out his arm. That's nice and thin. From his wrist coming up, you've got the fold line going in right to the elbow. So bring that line round down to the wrist. So there's his left arm done nice and simply. Repeat the same on this side. So we just want a little rectangle for the thumb. Remember to curve it for the edges of fingers. First finger, rosette on the second finger, third finger, little finger, rosette ring on his little finger. So there's the cuff going over his hand. Again, we can go right up. You've got a fold if we do the top part of his arm first, and then top of his arm comes down, and you can then do the forearm going right the way out to the elbow, and then the arm going right the way up into that kind of shoulder piece. So that's nice and quick and simple. We can now do the sash around, and the sash bends around the body, so you want to bring that around. That joins under the medallion, comes out the other side, and then just curves around the body a little bit here. So remember to bring that out and bring that under. Now his purple tunic goes all the way down. Again, the same from inside the sash all the way down, and then he's got his cape right out at the back. Baddies wear capes. And then again on this side. So very, very quickly, that's how simple it is to get the outline of Lord Nooth down. Now you can colour that in with pencil crayons or felt tip pens. You could do the outline if you want in felt tip pen. And let's just get rid of that centre line a little bit. Oh, drawing's going down and masking tape's giving up. Get in there. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is, that's the 4B pencil. I need just need to sharpen a 2B pencil. And then we're going to shade him in really quickly, because he is so simple to shade in. So again, all the light's coming from this way, so you can see the shadows coming over from his nose. And he's very, very pale skinned. So we can bring that shadow down right the way over his ear, on his left ear. That's lit quite well. We need to increase his eyes, on the tone on his eyebrow, eyelid, and then under his furrowed brow. You want the shadow to accentuate, and then the kind of top of his head. And then he hasn't really got a chin. You just want a very, very, very faint bit down that side. Now you can use your finger and smudge nice and simply, or you can use a bit of kitchen roll. Now we want to darken the shadow in that ear. We want to increase the shadow at the top. Makes him more menacing and evil. Oh. And then increase the shadow just coming off his mouth. And that's how quick and simple it is to do that. Because his skin's so pale, you haven't got to do a lot. So with his fingers, you could literally just smudge them like this. There you go, I've just smudged those. The pencil that's already there. You can get your putty eraser, pull it to a point, and just pull off the pencil on the top for the highlights. And the same on this side. Now, his his purple cassock. Now, again, in ancient times, royal robes were kind of blue and purple. It was the most expensive fabric, so that's why our Lord Nooth is clad in purple, because he's the richest, wealthiest bad person that there is around, and he's causing Doug and his tribe a bit of problem for his own stadium. But again, no spoilers for the film. Go and see it. Again, I'm just using the side of the pencil to fill that in really quickly. And it doesn't matter if you actually go over some of the lines. Now, you can either fill in, like I'm doing, the entire lot, or you could do small bits and work your way across slowly. But you get a kind of uniform line when you do it that way. So I've just put in a full tone. I'm now going to use a bit of kitchen roll, and that's from the previous drawing. So it doesn't matter because I'm just smoothing this in quickly. Just to get the tone in totally all in one. Now again, using this now, I'm likely going to fill in the sash. Now we need to just put a little bit of delineation for these kind of folds. And you've got a bit more shadow down this side, underneath these fingers. And just indicate a little bit of the creases on this side, lightly. But that's light because of the fawn colour of that sash. I'll just use my finger. Again, get your putty eraser and you can bring in some highlights going to that sash. Nice and quick. Now, if you just lift off the highlights on his arm and on his tunic, and then down this side, and then you've got a bit of one down there, another one down there. This is where there's like some big folds, and then you want to lift off a bit on his chest and the top. Again, the top of his right arm, top of his left arm. Now we want to bring in a darker shadow for underneath the arms. Again, use the side of your pencil and smudge it with your fingers. You want a bit of shadow underneath the medallion and underneath where his neck collar is. And then this part here, because of the shoulder couplet pad, whatever it is, that's causing a bit more shadow down there. Again, smooth that with your finger. And then underneath on his right arm. So you've got more three-dimensionality there. Now again, his cloak is darker on the edge, so you can do a kind of mid-tone, but then really darken up the shadow down there. Again, round the back, it's going to be completely black where it's next to his purple tunic, and then not so black where it comes round, not so dark because of the cast shadow. Now, underneath this sash, you need a bit of shadow, and then because the light's coming from this way, you obviously need more of a shadow coming down in this fold, and then you've got second fold there, a bit lighter to indicate these other folds in his tunic as it drapes down over his massive body. So now we can increase the shadows on these fingers because they've got more cast stronger light. Build up the sash, and now we've pretty much just got the metalwork to go. Just increase that shadow a little bit. So you can see there how simple it is to fill in a vast area of space with the side of your pencil. Now again, if you're using crayons, you can't use an eraser as much. There you go. Let's just smudge that in a little bit and make that look a little bit better. So now, quickly, we need to do the metal. So it's got a very strong highlight at the top. So you need to leave that highlight showing. It's got, whack in, just use your finger, whack in a mid-tone. Pull in a highlight. Smudge that around. Pull in some highlights. And it's very dark underneath the lip, and then you need darker there, and then again just the curve on these shoulder pads will make it stand out a bit. Again, on the rope you can just cover that quite quickly with the pencil and then come in and just dab some highlights for the metal. It's the kind of ting, and that'll make them stand out. Darken the ruby, because that's kind of red. And you can put some much darker bits around there. Now finally, underneath here, you've got the bottom part of the ball is kind of in shadow. And this is how metal works, in reflecting in a curved way. So you don't want the highlights up here to be stronger, so you can just indicate some scratches in the metal a little bit, but you just make these bottom hexagons filled in slightly darker, and then put the increased shadow underneath the bottom. Fill those in, and you can smudge with your finger, and then finally on the sides of the hexagon from where the light's coming, the kind of tops, use your putty eraser and just highlight them to make them stand out that little bit more. Increase the darks a little bit, and that's a quick way of doing that football amulet. Anyway, there's Lord Nooth very, very quickly. Oh, I've nearly forgot. Let's just squiggle in his little rosette rings. Oh, nearly missed them. Don't want to be doing that. Darken that shadow down there. So there he is, there's Lord Nooth, drawn very, very quickly. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoyed the others. Please do like and subscribe for future videos on how to draw. Check out the how to draw and the portrait playlists, links in the cards and the descriptions. But I look forward to encouraging you and helping you with your future drawings. Thanks very much, take care, ta-da.